Yeah, how y'all doing? Part of my voice. How y'all doing? I wanted to make this video while these thoughts were still fresh in my head. I do some of my best thinking at night, unfortunately. I'm up, watching some film, watching some games, some stuff from A games the last 2 weekends, getting prepared for May hoops. And there was a lot of conversation with the age thing with Made, and I've gotten to the point, and if you actually are in these rooms, you're actually paying attention, like, why are people jealous or upset with kids wanting to be 2 or 3 years older than the guys they play against? Because at the end of the day, it's doing them a disservice. You should feel bad for these kids. You shouldn't be jealous of them. You should feel sorry for them. Because whatever program they're playing for is doing them a disservice. Their parents are doing them a disservice. And whoever's mentoring them or giving them advice is doing them a disservice. Because at the end of the day, right, if you paying attention and watching what's going on with basketball, if you're in middle school and you're playing and you're 16 and you're playing against 12 and 13-year-olds, you may dominate at the moment, and some parents might be upset because you lost a championship, lost a game. But the end game, and we see this all the time, we see guys that dominate in middle school get to high school and flame out. We see guys who are good in high school go to college and flame out because they were 2 or 3 years older than everybody. So once they start playing against guys that are their age or older, they can no longer dominate because most of them are only good because they're bigger, stronger, and faster, or older, not because they're actually more skilled or have a higher IQ. So this whole concept of being upset or jealous can all worked up. Don't, because long term, the kids that are playing their age, the kids that play up sometimes, are going to be in a better position long term, right? It's a marathon, not a sprint. So, like, getting all caught up in, like, kids that reclass and double reclass, whatever. Because, like I said, you're going to see those same kids when they go to high school or when they get to college flame out. Especially if they're not working on their game. There was no game plan. There was no method to their madness. Like, oh, you're just going to be older than everybody. That's not ever going to be good enough to be good at basketball long term. Like, and most people that play in these circuits, that play in these spaces, the objective, the goal is what? To get a college scholarship or play in college, right? So run your race, work on what you need to work on, and all that stuff. Stop worrying about who's reclassing, who's double reclassing. Because at the end of the day, most of those guys that double reclass without a plan, without putting in the work, they fail. You shouldn't be jealous of them or envious. You should actually feel sorry for them because they're being done a disservice, right? And while we're on the topic of reclassing, if you're going to reclass, right, have a plan. And what I mean by a plan is, if I'm going to reclass a kid, we already know 3 of the 5 high schools we're consider putting him in. We already know what skill sets he needs to work on. So we already know what teams, what AAU program, what circuit he's going to be playing on. There's a goal. Like, we want him on this circuit. We want him going to this school. We want him playing in this position. We want him playing this role. All that's going to be solidified before we even reclass, right? We're already having these conversations. We're not shooting in the dark or, letting the blind lead the blind. We're already going to have a game plan, right? Then for the skill part, okay, we're going to reclass you this year. What do you really need to work on, all right? You need to work on your shooting. So we're making sure you're getting 300, 400, 500 makes a day, right? Because if we're reclassing, that means we're putting a lot of eggs into the basketball thing. So if you're going to put eggs if you're going to be dedicated to it, you got to put in the work. A lot of people are reclassing, oh, well, if I play an extra year or I'm a year older, that's good enough. And I see a lot of kids that's reclassing, and to be honest with you, ain't shit. Look terrible. You're a year older than everybody, and you're not standing out. That's not a good look. Part of my language is not a good look. So reclassing in itself is never going to be good enough. What is your plan? All right? If the physical things the kid needs to work, let's say the kid shot up 4 or 5 inches, so that's why you reclass him. Give a year for him to grow into his body. What training are you doing? Are you stretching every day? What's the nutrition plan? Like, it has to be a plan. Like, people who reclass and have success doing it, there's a plan. There's an objective. All right? They're just not throwing darts in the dark. They have a game plan. All right? We want to put 10 pounds of muscle on him. We want to work on his athleticism. We want to work on his 2-foot jumping, work on finishing over the rim, we want to work on his ball handling. We don't want him playing anywhere that he's playing exclusively just center. We want him playing anywhere he's exclusively just playing underneath. Like, there has to be a plan, right? I don't want my son playing anywhere unless I don't want him just being in the corner and catching, shooting. I don't want him just playing the point. I want him to be a combo guy. I want him to play both. I want him to have the ball in his hands. I want him sets ran for him. Whatever the case may be, there has to be some type of plan, and you have to execute that plan. It can't just be, oh, well, we're going to give you an extra year to play in 8th grade or 7th grade, and that's good enough. You got to be in the weight room. You got to be doing the training. You got to be doing the skill development. You got to be watching the film, right? Your high school recruitment should be taken care of. Like, okay, we're going to, we have 3 to 5 schools that we're thinking of going, right? We reclass because we were told if we reclass, we have our opportunity to go in and play varsity from the jump as a freshman. Like, you should be having these conversations. These are the things that you should be thinking about if you're going to reclass a kid. Like I said, don't just do it because that seems like the thing to do. Monkey see, monkey do. Because, like I said, those who reclass and have had success, there's a plan. There's a team behind them, right? They're not just randomly doing it. They have an objective. They have a 3-month plan, a 6-month plan, a 9-month plan, a year plan. And they have markers they need to hit. All right, so if you're going to be on the business side of this, do things and move accordingly. Do things correctly and move accordingly. Don't just do it, oh, well, this kid reclassed and it worked out well for him. But you can see all the things that happen behind the scenes. You can see him doing the ball handling and the footwork and lifting weights and doing the push-ups and the dips and the squats. You can see him getting 400 or 500 shots up a day. You can see him, even though he may have reclassed, when he's home getting local bump, playing as older guys. You didn't see any of that stuff, right? I've had guys that reclassed that I've coached, but when we were playing locally, they were playing up. They only played their age when there was a high-level AU or camp event with the top guys in their grade or in their age. Besides that, anything local, they played up. Because the goal was, we want to get you ready for varsity basketball as soon as possible. Because the faster you're on varsity, usually that's going to project you being a college player. You hardly ever see guys that play varsity as a freshman or sophomore, unless they go to a high school that doesn't have a strong program, not play college basketball. So it is what it is. Take the advice, do what you want. But hey, I've been in those rooms. I've been in these situations. I have mentors that have done this, that have been doing this for years. What works, works. Peace.